All right. You guys go ahead. Thoughts? Start with Edgar, I guess, since you were the one involved.
Well, it's difficult for me to speak because I am so biased here.
Do you feel like you should be here right now or not?
I would like to be here, see.
All right. So continue. Just give your take then.
If the man is saying that I'm gonna die, and let's not take me, let's put someone else. And every other option is exhausted. And the last option is either die or hospital. In this case, he chose hospital. I don't believe, since there hasn't been a precedent, that he should be punished for that. On the contrary. Now, when it comes to the part that is very, I don't understand, is take, then being operated, and then held at gunpoint, pulled out, and then taken back. This is the part that starts to get very, very odd.
Yeah.
And this I don't really have an answer for.
Yeah.
Wait, so
This is the part that upset me because
wait, we literally have the
you
same
said
exact opinion.
terrorism in the hospitals doing this. If we had done that, why then return?
Yeah. So
Yeah.
you, I think, actually, you guys gave your takes too. Sorry. Go ahead, Sab and then Queen.
Well, yeah, for me, exactly. Okay, you break the codex by giving an real outside institution. Why take it one step further? Wait until, he's ready to be released and take him the normal way, right? Why escalate things at that point? I don't understand that logic.
Yeah, but
Is he
nobody
covering up
knows
his
that,
mistake?
Ren. Nobody knows that, buddy.
He f***ed up and he had to do something about it? I don't know. That worries me.
Queenie?
Yeah, I'm about the same mindset. When you had asked him how long he's been in the city, it's known. If you pull out a weapon in the hospital, regardless of who you are, it's a problem. Had he already brought Edgar there, he had already committed to breaking the codex at that point. At that point, once he was going to be brought into the ICU, he had already been treated by a doctor. He had already gone through being helped by someone from the outside. So I guess I see his intention in thinking that because he was told by the doctor that Edgar was stable, that meant that he could pull him and bring him back here to the care of, the doctors and medics here in New Babylon. But the problem is, being stable doesn't mean that he won't have issues. He would have been observed. He would have been in the care of the medical team over there because they deemed him, still needing care. So then pulling the weapon at that point endangered every single person here because the cops are hot on the ass. They want any reason to be able to investigate anything concerning anybody, like anybody here or everybody here.
Yeah, I mean, here's the problem. Skip took one problem and he broke it down into two parts. The first part, I don't give a fuck about, right? Because Edgar is correct. The precedent was never set on how we react when all options are exhausted to saving a life. Even though I feel like we just let you die personally, that was never really set. Maybe you could argue the codex, it's outlined a bit in the codex, but in my opinion, something like that, we actually need to set a precedent, right? Where we have a meeting and we lay down the law, whatever it is, send them to the hospital if we have to or don't, whatever we decide. I feel like at the very least, a conversation would need to have been needed for me to actually penalize Skipper for that. As a matter of fact, as well, Edgar is one of our people. He's also a very good friend of mine. I'm very happy that you are alive. Right? I'm not going to pretend that I'm angry that he saved your fucking life. I'm not angry at all. Again, he took that problem right there is so easily solvable. Maybe find him some Babalari, throw him in a shame pit, whatever. We move on. It's fine. And then we set a precedent moving forward. The problem is he took that problem and he broke it into two problems, and the second half of this problem is very problematic. It almost goes against everything that I've preached, and it's very hard for me to wrap my head around. I know Skipper, right? I've known Skipper for a very long time. He's always worked either with me or under me or whatever. He's aware of how things go, but I also don't understand why you just aren't committing to saving Edgar's life at this point. Truthfully, I don't see myself in a position where if I was in Skipper's shoes, I would have, one, never pulled a gun on the doctor. Two, if the doctor's telling me this motherfucker needs to be in ICU, unless I know Gigi's around or a trained medical professional, Queenie, whatever, is around and is calling me and actively saying, listen, we could save him, bring him back here, then maybe sure I'm bringing him back here.
Yeah.
But if I think nobody's around, why am I going to bring him back to camp?
Right. That's
Who the
part
fuck gonna
that
treat
just,
him? Sab?
Boggles my mind. Why?
I think he was trying to correct a mistake he had made. And then realized when he got back here that he fucked up because there was still nobody around because we were all in the middle of a situation. He, not having a phone, was not aware of where we ended up as a group, where the medics or possible doctors are around to be able to help him. So he was still with Edgar alone.
It doesn't matter as well. It does not matter. If the doctor
still
goes he's
needing
stable,
care,
but he
and
needs to
that's
go
when
into the
things
ICU,
began to unravel even quicker.
like
for him
it's
after that.
still,
There's one thing that
You know?
confuses me is I was not allowed to go in the ICU, but I recall very faintly opening my eyes, being in a hospital bed, ripping off wires, and trying to crawl my ass out of there. And the last thing I think I remember was Benny. So when? It's like the timeline is a little off.
The second time when he brought you back the second time.
maybe this was
That
the
was
second
this-
time when
that
more
was
people were
the
there.
second
Yeah,
time.
Yeah, because he said that on the way back when he took you from the hospital, driving up here, you started to also your vitals started to go bad, so he had to bring you back the second time to the hospital. That's when he left you in there.
But is that relevant information? Listen, I think everything is irrelevant aside from the specific situation of pulling a gun. That exact moment, I think, is the only problem here. I don't care that he
So-
brought you back to the hospital as well. I don't care that your life was saved. I'm happy that your life was saved. It's this whole gun pulling shit just made all of this just money because, brother, we don't know whether or not the cops are investigating, right? But the target that they could have painted on our back is insane. Like that
I
is literal terrorism.
The reason I bring that up is because he's saying that this guy was dying and I was trying to use the hospital for the bare bones. Just get this guy alive and then we'll take care of the rest. Because if I become conscious and my instinct is to get out of there, it's exactly what he was thinking. But as you said, pulling out the weapon nullifies all of that. So the question is now, what is to be done?
I don't know.
It seems that everyone is in unison that the gun in the hospital was.
Oh my
not
God,
supposed to
Chad, I
happen,
can't do
but
it. I don't know if I can exile him. I don't know if I can do it.
So how do we address this?
I don't know. It's hard, brother. I can't really think of any other punishment than exile. I would love to hear.
Exile is too much, amigo.
So please explain to me why.
Yeah, why do you think it's too much?
I would also agree it's too much in this specific situation.
See,
I
that
think
makes
the
me wanna do
punishment
it
should be
more.
severe, but I think in this situation specifically, having no sort of medical knowledge at all means
See, now this
that
pisses me off!
whenever he was in that situation, he did the best to try to save a life, regardless of what that
Yes.
intention was. And I know this is not the whole point of why we're questioning things.
Fuck!
But even when he heard that he was stable and going into the ICU, I figured that he probably just assumed that that meant he was okay. Is he a fucking idiot? Yes. And at that moment, pulling the weapon was the dumbest shit he could have ever fucking done, and that's where that punishment needs to be severe. But
I struggle where when do these things have weight then? Right? Obviously, I don't want to talk like this is like the 70th trial. Very clearly, it's the second trial, but I just have to say this out loud. When do these things that we have created and worked on have weight? When do we decide it has weight then? Because it's going to feel very weightless to me. Unless we can think of some other creative ass punishment I can't think of. I'm just wondering, when do we want these things to have weight?
it's the same situation as the last trial. It's more of common knowledge. Don't be a fucking idiot and do dumb shit. But people still do it unless they see it fucking written down somewhere.
But
So it's
that
like the
was
same
the
cannibalism thing, right?
Yeah, you're right. You are correct. But that was the context for Wee Wee's trial, though, right? Was this show of mercy to a man who should have been exiled, in hopes that people kind of soak in like that moment and make sure they don't find themselves in that sort of position. I don't like this whole like weaponizing stupidity shit. Skipper might have zero medical practice, but the guy's he's a very seasoned veteran. He knows exactly how things work around here.
He's also a smart guy.
When you say exile, do you mean exile in the model of Wee Wee, where after rehabilitation he returned, or a permanent exile?
Well, that's the thing. I don't know, brother. It's the question I'm asking myself: is when do we want, like, how much weight? Like, if How much weight should the codex have, brother? To me, it feels very weightless right now. Is that a good thing? Is that a bad thing? I don't know.
The codex should have maximum weight, 100%. But in this case, you can make the case that like Skipper pulled me out, pulled the gun out, because he thought I'm not supposed to use outside. The codex forbids me from using outside. I have used it just enough to keep him alive. Any more longer, and every second that the clock ticks, I'm breaking the codex because we're relying on outsiders. I got him in there. He's safe. He's not dying. They did the surgery. He's now being moved out of the surgery room. Any more longer he stays in the hospital, I'm breaking the
interesting.
codex every
Interesting
second
perspective
because I'm
here. I like it,
relying on
actually.
outside. From this moment on, we can handle it. This is probably what he's thinking, trying to defend it, putting his life on the line.
Yeah, I don't think he betrayed anything out of malice. It was his intent was to
Man, maybe I
protect
am a
someone,
fucking piece of shit, chat.
and
That's why a lot of people don't like me, I guess.
difficult
But
because
now
Fuck,
if he,
just had an
but if he's
epiphany.
pulling out the weapon and he's putting, it's a negligent move. It's one where you're not thinking, and now you put all of Babylon in danger. So
yeah, but that
so-
was to protect himself from the mistake that he had made. That is the error in judgment that he made at that moment.
Right, and his action is reflective on all New Babylon, right? What he did, they don't just see it as Skipper Jones doing that. They see it as a Babylonian committing that act in the hospital, attacking
Correct.
the hospital, right? And then that puts a bad light on all of us. And it, you know, endangers the foundation of New Babylon within itself.
Okay. We have like 40 motherfuckers waiting for a verdict. What do we feel like that should be? Just go with majority here.
I think it depends. If you want to go severe exile, with maybe a possibility of reapplying to New Babylon.
I feel like if he did things intentionally with malice, I guess that is exile. If someone's intentions are to purposely break the codex, then at that point that is exile. But if not, which I don't think that this is the situation, there should be a severe punishment that is not exile. I feel
All right,
like
but
that
recommend something, rather. Recommend, like, what do you think the punishment should be?
Like, you know, should lose Chrome, 100 Babylon fine to Chrome. What would be like a
Sap,
a
shut the
harsh
fuck
punishment?
up. Queen, just give us a recommendation.
I would say we would fine him 20 Babylari, and any weapon that he gets from the security team at any point is doubled or tripled in price until he can prove to himself and to everybody that he is worthy of holding a gun again. He has to
Okay,
go
interesting.
through severe training as well as other things. Time in the shame pit as well.
Edgar?
pulling the weapon on the hospital was a very negligent and dangerous move. And for that, a 24-hour exile.
Okay.
You could do
Not-
the same kind of exile like
not in the
Wee.
city, not in the city, in the woods.
Okay.
Maybe that's where he does his training and things with the security team. Or one individual from the security team.
But to exile and force him to reapply is too much. It would start a witch hunt with everyone in here. One of the big issues with the Wee trial is everyone began to look at each other with so much suspicion after that. Everyone felt like everyone is being thrown under the bus. If now a person tried to do the right thing in his head, he erred, but he was trying to do the right thing, is now exiled, and the only way he can return is to apply again in the future, is going to cause a mutiny. Everyone will look at each other with so much suspicion and mistrust. The weight of holding a doctor at gunpoint is massive. As you said, it can be a terrorist charge. It must not have happened. But with all things considering, I will meet you halfway. I will say exile, but no longer than 24 hours. Anything
don't-
beyond that is absolutely too severe.
Okay.
I don't like exile like for short periods of time to just be used as like an escape for people, because then it loses the weight of what an exile should be when we actually exile someone permanently. Maybe use
Interesting.
another word, not the word exile for that.
Yeah, I got it. Listen, you guys gave recommendations.
Considering like the Pauli thing
He
happened
should
too,
probably,
like
he should
shit's
probably
gonna
turn
happen.
himself in and finish that investigation too.
What was that?
That
I
right
say-
there.
He should probably turn himself in and talk to the cops and end that investigation, so there's no more, looking for the musket or. Well, actually, no, that might even muddy the water.
Nah.
Yeah,
Come on,
yeah,
let's
yeah.
not be stupid. It's fine. All right, I heard your recommendations. I heard your opinions. Let's get this shit over with.
Yep.
All right, praise be.